Chapter 38. Harrison and Serafina arrived quite late. When they arrived, the auction hall was already bustling. Harrison rarely appeared in public, just appearing attracted attention. In addition, the owner of the auction house was his grandfather's student. As soon as he saw him, he immediately smiled and welcomed him, attracting everyone's attention even more. The two sides greeted each other a few times, and their eyes naturally turned to Serafina. Harrison had never brought a girlfriend before, so everyone was guessing. However, he was someone who often avoided private matters, and the other party also knew this, so although they looked at her a few times, they did not ask. The people around them surrounded them to ask about him and her, but did not ask about their relationship. Instead, they kept an I-know-it-all look. Serafina calmly replied, her eyes swept across the hall and saw familiar people. Vivian was still the same as usual, always maintaining her elegant and noble appearance in crowded places, but her eyes were a bit sad. When she saw the man standing next to Serafina, her expression became even more complicated. As for Lily, she unexpectedly came with Hannah. It was true, although Serafina made Lily think that Hannah was secretly harming her, but Lily had not been doing well recently. She did not dare to antagonize Hannah, she could only endure the grievances and pretend to be her close friend on the surface. They were very similar, smiling on their faces, but their eyes were filled with anger. Jealousy is the devil. Serafina sneered at the girls, following Harrison into the hall. This time, there were more than a dozen pieces of land being auctioned. The general situation, such as geographical conditions, traffic, were not much different. Even if there was inside information, it would not feel much different. Unless it was someone like Serafina, who had just received the latest news this morning. Serafina walked around, saw Harrison standing nearby watching the introduction, and walked over. Before she could get close, she heard a young man come up and say to him, "Is that young lady your girlfriend?" She didn't understand why she was paying all her attention to her ears. No, his voice was calm and indifferent, and he answered very fluently. "She's just a younger sister from a noble family." The other person asked again, "Can you introduce her to me?" He turned his head to look at him. "I don't know her." She couldn't see his expression from this position. She felt a little heavy and uncomfortable in her heart, but he didn't notice her and walked in another direction. As soon as he took a step, she met Hannah's sarcastic, happy eyes. Serafina scoffed, turning around to go to the bathroom. She just walked in and turned on the faucet. Hannah followed. She glanced at the mirror, as if looking at a stranger, then leisurely withdrew her gaze. Hannah stood there for a long time before half-heartedly opening her mouth. "Why did you appear with Harrison? Do you like him?" She wanted to say she didn't like him, but seeing her fierce expression, she couldn't help but laugh. "Why should I tell you?" So she liked him. Hannah's lips twitched in anger. After a while she laughed out loud, mockingly. "Don't you look at who you are? Just relying on a sparrow that turns into a phoenix like you, he will like you? Do you think you are worthy of him? I wonder where you got all that confidence from." She looked in the mirror, calmly fixed some messy hair behind her ear, and smiled leisurely. "Trust? I just need to compare myself to you and I will have it." "You." Hannah gritted her teeth and endured. This damned brat had a sharp tongue, arguing with her wouldn't do any good. Hannah looked around, then stopped at the flower vase placed by the sink, smiling wickedly. It would be better to ruin Serafina's image, so that she wouldn't be able to go out and meet anyone. She was about to reach out to take it, but unexpectedly Serafina took a step forward, pulled out the flower, and threw the vase. The green, smelly dirty water immediately spread onto Hannah's white dress. Hannah was speechless, staring at the dirty water on her dress, not daring to believe her eyes. "Serafina, you dare to throw dirty water on me? I've already done it, what else can you say? If I don't throw it on a bitch like you, should I wait for you to throw it on me?" Serafina's face was cold. "Besides, I didn't splash you." "Who saw?" "Oh right, there's no camera in the bathroom." "Despicable." Hannah couldn't contain her anger. She raised her hand and slapped her. Serafina's eyes darkened. She grabbed her hand and twisted it back. She let out an "ah" sound. Her body was turned around. She hugged her arm and fell face down on the sink. Hannah tried her best to resist. She could only stare at Serafina in the mirror with hatred. I warn you. Clang, the ear-piercing sound of broken porcelain rang out. Hannah's eyes widened in shock. She saw that the porcelain vase in Serafina's hand had broken into sharp pieces, a cold, sharp piece pressed against her face. Hannah was so scared that her legs went weak. You're crazy. What do you want to do? Serafina's face was gloomy, her eyes were fierce. Last time you whipped me, today, I want to scratch your face, is that fair? You dare. Hannah was both angry and scared, she almost screamed. I want you to apologize immediately. Serafina gently rubbed the broken porcelain on her face. Hannah was so scared that her face turned pale and she was trembling. Serafina's tone was cold, otherwise, I will show you whether I dare or not. You. Hannah could not resist Serafina's strength, she was furious and wanted to threaten her, but the strength on the broken porcelain increased by a bit, the sharp tip embedded into her cheek. Ah! She screamed, sorry. I shouldn't have whipped you, I'm sorry. Serafina gently let go, the broken porcelain fell into the sink with a clang. Hannah was still in shock, breathing continuously for a few breaths. I advise you, don't provoke me anymore. Serafina finished speaking, and fiercely pushed her away. Hannah lay flat on the marble pedestal, in pain, her legs felt like jelly. By the time she had the strength to get angry, Serafina had already left long ago. As for her, she was covered in dirty water, unable to get out. Serafina came out of the bathroom, saw Vivian coming, she didn't stop but walked past. I'll give you a chance to save Hannah. Vivian didn't understand. When she went in she saw Hannah in a dirty mess, her cheeks were red with anger, her body was shaking. Hannah gritted her teeth and didn't say a word, of course she couldn't be embarrassed to say it. Vivian also pretended not to know, called someone to bring clothes here. After Vivian hung up the phone, both of them were completely silent. In the bathroom there was only the sound of wind from the vent. After a while of dull silence, Vivian opened her mouth and asked directly, does your brother like Lily? Hannah was still angry, irritably glared at her, and said stubbornly, who knows? Isn't he playing a flirtatious game with you? Vivian realized something was wrong, lightly fiddled with her phone, the corners of her lips curled up. Don't you want to know which land Serafina is eyeing? Hannah was stunned, only then did she look at her attentively, feeling that there was something different about her today, her tone and expression were not like before. She leaned against the sink, suddenly laughing comfortably. Thank you for helping me get my clothes. Actually, compared to Lily, of course I like you to be my sister-in-law more. The meaning of this sentence couldn't be clearer, the last bit of hope was completely shattered. Vivian's hand holding the phone clenched and loosened, her face pale. Hannah saw her like this, gasping for breath and said, as a woman, I don't like Lily. You and her have been sisters for so long, how could you not have discovered that she likes to steal things from others, especially men? Speaking of this, a look of disgust appeared in her eyes. Even when we were in the student council together, she stole all the attention from the male classmates. If my brother didn't like her, I would have avoided her like the plague. In that case, Vivian raised her eyes, don't you want your brother to change to another girlfriend? Hannah was stunned for a moment, then came back to her senses and curled her lips, let's shake hands? I'm very interested. However, she cheerfully stated the condition, I'll help you deal with Lily, you help me deal with Serafina. Aren't you two best friends? There's nothing more painful than being stabbed in the back by your best friend. Vivian was silent for a moment, not answering directly, but said, Serafina wants to buy a piece of land in Zone 2 in the west suburbs. According to inside information, that piece of land is much better. Thank you. Hannah smiled. Vivian turned around and left, the clothes will be delivered within 10 minutes. She came out of the bathroom, her heart heavy, revealing Serafina's news to Hannah. She wasn't happy either, but her hatred for Lily had driven her crazy. She must take back everything Lily had stolen from her. That was just the piece of land that Serafina liked, it wouldn't be a pity to lose it. After all, the other pieces were similar. As soon as she entered the hall, Lily had tears in her eyes, apologetically welcoming her, wanting to hold her hand. Listen to me explain. Her face was very ugly, she immediately shook her hand away. Lily clung to her, trying her best to choose her words to advise. We are blood-related sisters, our feelings for each other these years have been very real. That year, my mother was wrong, but I am innocent. My parents both miss you very much. Can you come home with me? Vivian looked at the pitiful tears in Lily's eyes, suddenly feeling helpless. Why did she only realize now? Lily had used this very look to steal everything from her. Why was the girl in the past so stupid? She remembered Serafina's example, feeling extremely heartbroken, but still smiled. I have already sent that video to Serafina. Before she could finish speaking, Lily's eyes were already dry. Her face suddenly became extremely cold, almost filled with vicious hatred, her cheeks wrinkled. What did you say? Vivian was shocked. In 20 years, she had never seen such a vicious look on Lily. No wonder Lily didn't have a single girlfriend, no wonder none of the classmates she knew liked Lily. She pretended for so many years, deceived Vivian for so many years. Vivian's heart was boiling like a raging river and sea, unable to tell whether it was hatred or anger. She hated herself for being stupid, not seeing through her, and even more hated Lily for being cunning, always taking advantage of her. Vivian's head was aching as if it was about to split open. She gritted her teeth, deliberately provoking her to enjoy the feeling of revenge. I've sent it to Serafina. As for how she wants to deal with you, you can ask for it yourself. Lily viciously curled her lips, impudently threatening. Don't forget we're in the same boat, we're all members of the Ashford family. If you dare to attack me, if you want to destroy me, you'll be destroyed with me. Vivian was helpless and humiliated like never before. Why did her father have an illegitimate child with that shameless woman? Why did she and the ugliest, most hateful Lily have the same bloodline? Why is Lily also a descendant of the Ashford family? The most hateful thing is that this daughter is extremely shameless. She has robbed her of everything and even dared to openly threaten the family. But she cannot be as dirty as her, throwing away the family's image and interests behind her, and she cannot bring the whole family down to attack her. But at this moment, she suddenly doesn't need anything anymore. If she has to go to hell, she would rather take her along. Vivian's entire body stiffened, almost crushing her fist, trying her best to suppress the surging emotions. Today, she must witness Lily's defeat with her own eyes. She wanted to take back everything from the Ashford family, no matter what means, no matter who she had to betray. Vivian fearlessly met Lily's fierce gaze, sneering coldly. Is that so? Then let's see who has more ability. Who is the real master of the family? After speaking, she ignored Lily and walked straight into the hall. Vivian's figure as she left was still as elegant and beautiful as ever. Lily couldn't help but clench her teeth. Humph. The real master of the Ashford family. Could it be that she thought it was her? They were both daughters of the Ashford family, so why was Vivian naturally the young lady while she had to live a dark life as an illegitimate child? Just thinking about how Vivian was more beautiful than her, could properly call Winston dad, and had a mother many times more talented than Megan made Lily angry. What was the basis for that? It was worth it for a princess like Vivian who had been living a comfortable life since she was a child. Lily smiled faintly. Humph, she was a flower of the boudoir after all. She didn't know how to use scheming to attack. She thought that if she told Helen that Serafina planned to buy a piece of land in Zone 1 of the western suburbs, she would take the bait. She originally suspected that Vivian wouldn't carelessly reveal Serafina's target like that. Today, at a glance, she was certain that Vivian was on the same side as Serafina. She was afraid that Zone 1 of the western suburbs was just a disguise. The best piece of land was Zone 2 of the western suburbs. She definitely had to get what Serafina was eyeing. When Serafina sat down, Harrison had already settled down. He tilted his head to look at her, seeing her calmly looking at the host on the stage. The other half of her beautiful face was unusually calm, even calmer than what he usually felt. He vaguely felt that something was not normal. The host on stage had finished opening. Harrison absent-mindedly looked up at the stage, his voice slightly low. Do as we said? She did not answer immediately, not knowing what she was thinking. Her mind was dull, perhaps she did not need his help. However, to be 100% sure, now was not the time to be angry. He saw that she was hesitant to answer, turned to look at her, her eyes somewhat strange. She did not turn around, mumbling a single word, He felt that her tone of voice was not as comfortable and lively as usual. He could not help but soften his voice and ask, "Nervous?" "No." She answered as if interrupting him, cutting off the words he wanted to say later. He was silent, silently looking at her face for who knows how long, but she still did not move, silently staring at the host above, not turning to look at him. It was not until the host announced that the first thing to be auctioned today was a piece of land in Zone 1 on the west outskirts. The starting price was 810 million, the step price was 10 million. Only then did she tilt her head and smile. "Let's begin." He looked intently at her clear black eyes. Her smile made his heart suddenly feel relieved, but he still felt something was not right in his heart. But work was more important. Someone among the auction guests raised their board. The host raised his hand. "This gentleman, 820 million. He raised his board indifferently. The host announced again, 830 million. After this shout, there was no other movement. The host asked again, 830 million times 1. This piece of land was not valued very highly. The auction house usually left the best land for last, and by inferring from this, the auction house also thought that this piece of land was the worst. So the majority waited to see what happened next. 830 million times 2. The Lancaster family had not planned to build anything recently, and it was obvious that Harrison raised the sign just because he wanted to buy it for storage. A piece of land that was not very good. No one wanted to compete with the Lancaster family. And if he wanted to buy it, even if the price was pushed up, he would eventually buy it. Unless they wanted to argue and cause trouble with him, no one would choose a piece of land that was already worthless and had been targeted by the Lancaster family. 830 million times 3, sold. The matter went even more smoothly than Serafina had imagined. With only 830 million, he had already obtained this piece of land. Harrison turned his head to look at her, thinking that she would also turn around happily, and he even thought of the excited yet patient smile in her eyes. He half expected her to look over, but she still silently looked forward. He was calm as if nothing had happened, and withdrew his gaze. The land prices of the following plots were all very stable. The final price was only 300 million more than the starting price at most. Finally, the host also brought out the last plot of land for today, plot of land in the western suburbs of Zone 2, starting price 1,150 million. Before he could finish speaking, Serafina raised her board and opened her mouth, 1,550 million. Immediately, everyone in the hall discussed enthusiastically, and very quickly someone raised their board as well. 1,650 million. 1,750 million. 1,850 million. Serafina smiled. The trick of spreading rumors, Serafina has the latest insider news, was indeed effective. In the crowd, a gentle female voice rang out, 1,900 million. Lily Harper. Serafina didn't turn around. But Vivian beside her turned pale. Why did Lily like this piece of land? Serafina had already been eyeing this piece of land. The area was large and the conditions were the best, so she deliberately revealed it, saying this piece was the worst. But Lily didn't fall for it? She closed her eyes. It seemed that Lily's scheme wasn't something she could easily guess. But she didn't know that the piece of land Serafina liked wasn't this one. Everyone was talking excitedly again, but most of them had already bought a few pieces before, and immediately stopped. Serafina's fingers tapped on the number board. This price was already a loss. Should she raise the price to make Lily's loss a little bigger? But if this price was already the highest Lily could pay, and she raised the board again, she might be forced to buy this piece of land. What should she do now? Just as Serafina's mind was running at high speed, struggling between the options, Harrison's calm voice rang out, 2 billion. Everyone was in an uproar again. Serafina turned around in surprise, only to see Harrison's calm and indifferent half-face. The entire hall went crazy. Even the Lancaster family liked it, so this was truly a precious piece of land. The host announced, 2 billion times 1. Before she finished speaking, another female voice interrupted, 2,050 million. It's Hannah. Serafina's face darkened. Vivian would indeed betray her. Hannah's eyes were fixed on Serafina, seeing her hesitant and uncertain appearance. She guessed that she was regretting the money. She was truly a stingy person. But Harrison beside her glanced at her, then immediately listed the price. It was obvious that he was helping Serafina. Hannah was so angry that she vomited blood. She absolutely could not let Serafina take this piece of land, and even more so, she could not let Harrison help her take it. The scene was deathly silent. No matter how good this piece of land was, this was already an exorbitant price. Everyone suddenly felt a low pressure. The air was as hard as a rock. Hannah retorted to Harrison, with his style from the past until now, the price of this piece of land might be raised to a new level, becoming a legend. But just when everyone was waiting, Harrison showed no expression. Hannah only raised the price by 50 million, Harrison really gave up? It was really confusing. Why did he just raise the board and shout? Hannah chuckled. He really didn't value Serafina that much in his heart. Moreover, she had just raised the price, and he had already withdrawn his hand, so he still saved face for her. Hannah was delighted in her heart. But then another voice rang out, 2,150 million. It was Lily. She had investigated before. This piece of land had the largest area. It was indeed the best. Unfortunately, she didn't know that all the expert opinions she had asked for were influenced by Serafina. Moreover, the thing Serafina and Hannah dreamed of, she had to get it even more. Hannah was silent, although she really wanted to compete with Serafina, but now that she was sober, this price was really a bit high. If they continue to fight, when mom and brother come back from work, they will definitely scold her. This was not a place to vent, and Harrison had just helped her, so she was very happy. So, Hannah let it go. The land was eventually bought at double the price. After the auction ended, everyone left. When Serafina passed by Lily, she saw the arrogant and smug smile on her face. She stopped, leaned into Lily's ear, and said softly, "Let me tell you something, the government wants to build low-cost apartments in the western suburbs Zone 2, which is also around your land, so that land cannot be used to build anything that will affect the residential area. It also cannot be sold to any real estate company." There were so many real estate companies here just now, but who would want it? Lily seemed to be struck by lightning, so surprised that her body immediately turned cold. "Oh, right." Before leaving, Serafina asked ambiguously, "Tell me, why did Hannah raise the price with you?"